Purple Daily on Score North and ScoreNorth.com. Purple Daily, presented by Surly Brewing Company.
Never a doubt. Bend, but don't break. Bend a lot, but don't break. I think that's the new motto for the Minnesota Vikings in 2022. This is Vikings Vent Line on the Purple Daily YouTube channel, the most fan-friendly interactive show in Minnesota sports. And we will give our opinion on what we saw just briefly and then turn the show over to you guys. Vikings Vent Line is presented by Surly Brewing Company and by TCL, one of the world's best-selling consumer electronics brands. They have a new lineup of award-winning TVs delivering the most entertainment with stunning resolution, all at an affordable cost. Enjoy more of the things you love with TCL. We'll talk more about Surly Brewing Company and our friends at Park Tavern later on in the show. I know Judd's not allowed to bring flags into the press box, and I don't care that they almost got beat by the Jets at the buzzer, blowing a 17-point lead. Get the flag. Vikings are 10-2. Wave the stat sheets. Wave whatever you can.
Here, I'll wave the Park Tavern gift card I've got.
There you go.
Prop.
There you go. Yes, wave the Park Tavern gift card.
How about that?
So, my God, there's never an easy day at work on a Sunday for these Minnesota Vikings. The first half, it's like, oh, okay, well, this is the one. Like, they're up 20-3, and they're just gonna maybe coast in with a double-digit or a 2-touchdown victory or something. And it was the Jets that were just pounding on the door with a chance to win that game. And Cam Bynum gets the game-winning interception. So, Judd, what's your main takeaway, I guess, from you're inside the stadium right now from what you saw?
So this team is now 10-2. I'd be hard-pressed to find a team that has looked worse in one quarter every game, it feels like. But the third quarter, again, almost undid this team. They're up 26 at half, and they have a chance to come out and thoroughly punch the Jets in the mouth. Instead, their defense goes backwards. The offense, which had a really weird day. This was a really weird game. I believe Kirk was, and this is not all on Kirk, but I believe his statistics in the third quarter alone were 1 of 4 for minus passing yards. But since the league doesn't address those, it was 0 yards. You know what? As you said, roll with it, baby. Just roll with it at this point. Like some of these games I can't explain. I can't explain the failures. I can't explain the game flow. But the Vikings escape again. And so, yeah, this one, I feel like this was one of the weirdest games of the season as far as having no idea what was coming next. It never really had a flow. I mean,
yeah,
the Jets were taking penalties. I thought the Jets played a dumb game a lot, but the Vikings kept bringing them back into it. It's hard to describe this game without sort of just bashing both teams, but the Vikings won.
Well, and that's the thing. It's, I feel like we've seen this script play out a bunch this season, right? Where the Vikings get massively outgained in yardage, or they fall asleep for an hour, or a team comes back or takes a lead on them, and then the Vikings have to come back and win. It's always a grind in the fourth quarter. I guess on the positive side, it's their 10th win of the season in the first 12 games. That's huge, and the Jets are a very good team. The Jets are one of the best defenses in the NFL, and scoring 27 points on offense against the Jets defense, which has allowed 13 points per game over their last 7, is a really good offensive achievement. There's a million things to nitpick here, and the defense in the first half, they showed some adjustments. Ed Donatel was bringing some exotic blitz packages. Chandon Sullivan on slot corner blitzes a couple times. Eric Kendricks on a blitz. DJ Wanham back into coverage. Almost an interception. And they actually held the Jets to like 3.5 yards per play in the first half. And so I was getting ready to say, wow, a little mini bye week. Some self-scouting. Did the Vikings defense pretty good here? And then the second half was a total train wreck defensively that
Yes.
almost allowed Mike White and company to come back and steal that game. Dex, what was your main takeaway sweating that roller coaster from your couch?
Yeah, it was just a crazy game. I would have liked for them to put that thing away. I took a lot of flack on Twitter for even just the thought of suggesting that maybe if you put him away in the third, and with the way Kirk's getting absolutely bullied by the Jets, maybe we'll see some Nick Mullins time in the fourth quarter.
You did. You went with this game is out of hand tweet.
I said if. If the Vikings, very important. I've learned from my two guys that I produce for every day. If the Vikings, not when, not will. If the Vikings, which they did not, and yes, you'll find it because Old Takes Exposed even might get after me for it too. But hey, you sweated it out, and I'm not going to apologize for the Vikings continuing to win games. They got 10 wins on the season. Not the prettiest games from Kirk. I thought the Jets defense made his life absolutely hell all game long, and they just weirdly enough abandoned the run game when Dalvin Cook was on fire. So hey, you'll take the win, and I'm fine with it.
I just retweeted it just so you can get some more flack in your ads here.
Appreciate
for fun. That. So, all right, well, we'll have plenty more to say on this, but let's turn it over here. This is the most fan-friendly, interactive show in all of Minnesota sports. It is Vikings Vent Line on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. If you haven't already, please click subscribe on the Purple Daily YouTube channel and the like button on this video so we can continue to help grow and spread the word about this Vikings fan community that you guys are helping us build on a daily basis here. So, who's first out of the gate on Vent Line, Declan?
All right, let's go to Raging Dylan from Oregon. Dylan, you got us?
Guys,
what's up, dude?
It's been years. The last time I called, we got knocked out of the playoffs by the Chicago Bears. I think it was like 3-4 years ago. I was raging. I was calling from my garage. I was so pissed off that the Vikings lost again, and Kirk Cousins couldn't do it for us. But I'm here today to say that we finally are going to. I'm saying we're going to the Super Bowl.
Oh,
you're going to the Super Bowl. No, I'm serious.
Raging Dylan.
I am serious.
Raging Dylan.
The wife is she's not in town because I'm very loud when I talk about my Vikings. But from this season, it's been such a weird season. It's who are we? We don't have an identity. Everyone in the media has been saying we're the luckiest team in NFL history. But how lucky is it if we win game after game after game? Every single time that we actually play it, we win the game. So I think the media needs to start respecting our name, and I think we're going to the Super Bowl this year. I swear to God, I do.
I love the raging optimism from Dylan here, leading us off.
It's almost
on
anger.
Vikings Vent Line, man.
It is.
It's almost anger. You're so angry, you're happy.
We are not getting that media coverage that we should, because we are 10-2. We are 10-2. And what 10-2 NFL team in NFL history has been disrespected more than us? And we have a good coaching staff, and we win the games that we need to win. Our defense. I know you guys don't like Ed Donashell, but don't break. Yeah, he was right tonight because he only allowed field goals, and we won.
Yes, Dylan, great way to lead us off here on Vent Line. I should mention, too, I forgot to say this off the top. If you want to get in queue, it's VikingsVentLine@gmail.com. You can just send us an email, VikingsVentLine@gmail.com, and we'll get to as many people as we can over the next hour or hour and a half. Let's keep it rolling here. Who's next out of the gate on Vent Line?
All right, we'll keep it moving. Let's go to now Sue and Craig here on Vikings Vent Line. Sue, what's up, man?
Hey guys, good to see you guys.
Hey guys.
This is Craig in the back
with my dog Hermie.
Yeah.
Hermie.
Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? That's a good boy.
Here. We want to know why they don't get rid of Donatel. We've been all year. He just gives up too many yards, and they don't blitz enough.
Are you just reading Judd's text to us verbatim right now? Is that what?
I watched you. My dad took me to the first game in 1961. I was 9 years old. I've been a Viking fan. I'm gonna die one of these years.
That's what I keep saying, and I'm not even your age.
I know the show's slogan is "We want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die." It is for your generation.
Got him.
He's got the beard and everything.
I'm about 6 in.
But that Donatel, I'm gonna wrestle that guy. Play up on the line. Don't give up 60-yard passes.
No, yes. It's... All right, thank you guys for jumping on here.
Duly noted. No, it's great.
It's hilarious.
Enjoying a few Surleys.
Yeah, the final tallies here on the yardage. So, man, bend but don't break, I guess. Just keep giving up field goals. The Jets racked up 486 yards, 6 yards a play, just under 6 yards a play, and 366 passing yards. Mike White threw 58 passes in this game for the Jets. And I don't know how many chunk plays, but it felt like every other play in the second half was like a 40-yard play, a 20-yard play, just someone streaking down the sidelines. So let's keep it going here. Vikings Vent Line, Purple Daily.
Let's go to Seth next on Vikings Vent Line. Seth, what's up, man?
Gentlemen, how we doing today?
What's up, Seth?
Good. Judd, do you got your Mountain Dew? I know you're in the press box because we're repping the Mountain Dew today.
Oh, I like it. It's right down there.
First of all, as a negative and superstitious Vikings guy, boo the guy who said we're going to the Super Bowl today. You can't say that. You don't. I get very upset when people say things like that, and that superstition ties into the game today. Kirk starts out 0 for 5. It's not like it's the end of the world. We're not getting our butts kicked, but I leave to take my daughter to her friend's house. All of a sudden, offense starts moving. We start looking good. I text my wife just jokingly, well, I don't know if I can come home now because I'm listening to PA at that point. As I get to my house, we score the touchdown. I drive right past. I don't even stop. I just keep driving. I end up staying in my car, either driving or in my driveway until halftime, until I felt semi-confident. Too early to be semi-confident that we were going to be okay in this game. But so we stuck it out. But this is like that TV show. This is us. This is us, guys. We're not. We don't want to win not big games. We don't want to win big in games. We're not going to win big in games because this defense, for as much hate as Donatel's getting, this is us. This was the classic this year's defense. Going to give up the yards. We're going to make a quarterback look better than they probably are. But I don't know what it is, but I'm confident now when they're down in the red zone this year that we're going to do something, that we're going to come up with a pick. Cam Bynum this week, almost Harry, almost got his hands on that first one. But this is us, guys. This is going to be a heart attack every week. But Kirk is gritty, started off rough again this week, but getting beat up, got hit a bunch today, and is just rallying the troops. And it's fun to watch, but goodness, they're going to send me to an early grave. This year better be it, because I don't know how much more.
Before you die.
If
they win, it's all gravy. Like if you live
gravy.
5 more years, that's great. 10 more years, that's great. But if they win, it's all gravy.
The bird almost took me out in our airplane, if you remember earlier from my
Yes.
That's right.
So
yes.
We're already rolling the dice here for the Vikes. So come on, guys, get it done.
Well, Seth, I as a guy who loves the show, This Is Us, I just hope that Ed Donatel isn't the crock pot that lit the house on fire. And I don't want to spoil the show for anyone, but
both shows make you cry a lot.
They do.
They're both they're both tear jerkers.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, Vike, we're 15 minutes in here to I think people they don't really know how to compute what happened today, but the Vikings are 10-2. I see that the Commanders and the Giants tied today, 20-20. So we had a tie today.
Oh, God, that's gonna make
that may or may not impact the standings or who the Vikings play at some point. So.
I hate ties.
Brutal. Yeah. All right, who's next?
Let's go to Henry next on Vikings Vent Line. Henry, what's
up? Howdy. How we doing?
What's up, Henry?
Oh, up to no good in the garage. I wanted to show you guys my old signed Hitman jersey. There we go.
There you
go. A little bit of love for Harrison.
Love it.
What a game, though, huh?
What a game for Harrison.
Yes. He's been my favorite forever, and it's fun to see him perform well. I always like to follow him around the field, and he was everywhere today.
Yeah.
He really was. I think they called his name 15 times.
I love that he kind of ran out of gas on the interception return. He was like running just sideways, and he's like, "Here, Patrick Peterson, just take the ball."
That was ridiculous. I thought that was super fun. So, no, amazing. Great game though. I mean, our defense is not always the most fun to watch, but some of our players, if we could all I don't know how to make it work. We have such good players on our team, and we just don't quite hit it all on the right cylinders. I mean, 366 yards for Mike White today? We got to do better.
And I felt like defensively, as Phil said at the top of the show, with the game plan that they came out with, I actually liked a lot. They mixed in more blitzes. It felt like they moved guys around a bit more. They certainly changed some of their third down packages. I like that a lot. Third quarter, it's like, I don't know if the Jets adjusted a bit, but the Vikings totally backed off. So I was confused by the second half because I thought that the first half was a nod to here's where Mac Jones and the Patriots got us. And so for the first 2 quarters, it's like, okay, nice adjustments. And then starting in the third, it's like, okay, those things are gone.
I think there's definitely some slowness out there. Like Jordan Hicks and Eric Kendricks have trouble covering space compared to maybe 5 years ago. But the biggest thing that drives me nuts about this defense is Ed Donatel thinks, and he even said this at the podium this week. He said, listen, we've given up some big plays recently. Those are uncharacteristic, meaning like my defense is designed to prevent big plays. That's the whole point. The Vikings have given up more big plays as defined by whatever graphic they put up on the CBS broadcast than almost any defense in the league. I think they were like 30th, or however you want to flip it, like third most big plays allowed. So if you're going to give up big plays playing a shell defense anyways, you might as well go down swinging by sending. Right. That's what I liked about the first half. It was like well, we're going to go down swinging anyways, and if we give up a big play.
They let Daniil put his hand in the dirt a few times, actually. That was nice to see as well. They've not been doing that nearly enough this year, and he's his best when he's got a hand down.
Yeah, and thank you for coming on Vikings Vent Line here, showing off the hairy jersey. Another thing, too, from the first half, so every other, and I don't know if they were doing it drive for drive, but they might have been like subbing middle of drives, but they were basically doing hockey line changes with their edge rushers and outside linebackers. So you had the Patrick Jones and DJ Wanham line, and then you had the Zadarius Smith and Daniil Hunter line. And I'll be curious to see what the snap counts look like at the end. But it was very obvious the Vikings were trying to preserve some gas for Zadarius Smith and Daniil Hunter, maybe to play them more later in the game, or maybe it's a 17-game season.
Right.
But they were rotating defensive linemen and edge rushers specifically a lot in the first half.
And I do feel that there have been previous games where they've done that. What intrigued me was the use of Asamoah on some third down plays, and then Josh Metellus on some third down plays. I think there was one where Jordan Hicks came out and it was 3 safeties, which I like. That's smart. But again, those are the things that felt like they were trying to do consistently in the first 2 quarters. And I guess my question is, what sort of happened to that philosophy and plan? Because it felt like it disappeared or was shrunk a lot in the third and fourth quarters, and then accordingly Mike White started to burn you, and the amount of explosives that the Jets had in the second half, I think, went up exponentially because of that.
The Vikings' magic number now to clinch the NFC North is 1. So from now until the end of the regular season, any combination of 1 Vikings win or 1 Lions loss. So next week you can just put it to bed by beating the Lions, but you have now effectively guaranteed yourself a tie in the standings of the NFC North crown. The Lions destroyed the Jaguars at home 40-14 today. Jared Goff was excellent. So that is not going to be an easy game. If you're looking for another cakewalk or looking for like the first cakewalk of the season, I don't know that it's going to be at Detroit, but we'll see. Who's next on Vikings Vent Line?
All right, let's go to Tyler next on Vikings Vent Line. Tyler, what's up, pal?
How's it going, guys?
What's up, Tyler?
That was a hard one to watch after the first half, for sure. So I got a point for offense and a point for defense just watching the game today. On defense, sealing the edge as far as our linebackers getting outside, like you alluded to with Kendricks and Hicks, they just don't have the step to beat the guys to the sideline or even get the angle to stop them from breaking huge rushes like they did today. You mentioned Asamoah got in a couple times. I've been cheering for that guy to get on the field all season. It's just horrible watching Hicks get burned over and over again. Even though he did save the, what's his name, Barrios, I think he was definitely the reason why he didn't catch that touchdown pass.
Yeah.
But watching Hicks sometimes really gives me a heart attack. And then on offense, just not establishing the run the entire third quarter. Like at a certain point, I think the head coach gets in love with different formations and passing the football, and we just get super stale in the third.
Yes, these are good. Tyler, good stuff here, man. Thanks for coming on Vent Line.
Nope.
Just a quick response to Tyler here. It felt to me like the Vikings, especially once you kind of saw just how great the Jets secondary was going to be. I mean, the Jets have the best secondary in the NFL. It's a great defense. And you saw how hard it was in the first 5 the Vikings did have Kirk Cousins came out in the second quarter and put together a nice little drive there.
Ooh.
But the hits that he was taking, there were very few wide open breaking routes in this game. And so to throw the ball 35 times in a game in which you had a 2-touchdown lead for the majority of it just felt like overkill. It was one of the first times all season where I've looked at Kevin O'Connell and been like, dude, you're running the ball well. Bleed clock, run it down their throats. In fact, they averaged up until the last drive where they just kind of, were trying to get the Jets to burn timeouts. They were averaging 5 yards a carry on, I think it was 26 carries going into that drive.
Mm-hmm.
So there's really, when the game flow, when you're up by 17 points and then, 2 touchdowns or whatever, and you're running the ball that well, and Kirk's getting hammered every time he drops back, I just felt like they threw the ball way too much, and then it allowed the Jets to just have momentum, and the clock stopped, and all these things.
Kirk Chains is fun. But can I please request that Chains does not introduce helmet-to-helmet contact himself? He took on that great run to pick up the first down, which, by the way, is a hell of a play. At the end of that run, Mosley, the linebacker's right there, and Kirk goes into him helmet first.
Yeah, that's right. Kirk Chains laid the freaking wood to C.J. Mosley and set the tone. I disagree with you. I love that he did that. He absolutely set the tone for that drive.
Here's my problem with it.
I wanted him to get up and give a demonstrative first down signal or something. That's the thing. That's what I wanted out of it.
Here's the problem with Chains there. He is very fortunate the concussion spotter didn't remove him from the game, because he got up and he wobbled a little bit, and I'm like, they're going to take him out of this game. And they didn't, which is, of course, I'm just telling you.
Kirk Chains doesn't feel pain. Okay.
No, well, Chains doesn't care. That's my fact. I wish conservative Kirk would just be like, God, Chains, can we talk? I mean, maybe just don't go in helmet first.
Somebody in the comment section, DeAndre Abram goes, Phil wants Josh Allen. You think? Yes, that would be great. I would love Josh Allen.
Kirk sliding in that case. I think. I mean, that's a great play, great run. Yeah, just slide at the end of it though.
No, just a slide, and he probably takes maybe it was a 15-yard penalty, but C.J. Mosley might bounce his head off the turf or something. Maybe the compromise is dive head first. Yeah. But he didn't know exactly where the first down marker was because it was a third down play. So I loved it, man. It was a tone-setting play. It was great. He
slammed into him at first. It was hilarious. But I thought this guy's going to get himself taken out of the game because they technically probably should have.
Let's keep it rolling here. Judd is at US Bank Stadium. We are about 25 minutes into Vikings Vent Line on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. Vikings win again, making you sweat at the end. Who's next, Declan?
Let's go to Sam next now on Vikings Vent Line. Sam, what's going on, dude?
Hey, Sam, it looks like you're muted.
Here, 1 second. We'll put Sam and Sam out, and then we'll get, in the meantime, we'll get Chris on here. If I can get right.
There we go.
There we go. Chris, what's up, dude?
Hey, guys. How's it going? So,
hey,
long-time listener, excited to be here. Minnesota native, been in Madison, Wisconsin now the last 20 years. So I can say very easily, this is probably the best season I've enjoyed of all time, because as you can imagine, I get it from all angles from Packers fans. I'm deep in the heart of Packers country, so us winning and them losing has been fantastic. I have several points, and then I'll trust in you to pick the one or two to focus on. So I thought this was the best defensive output that we've had since probably week 1. At the same time, scratching my head a little bit on where our pass rush is, when it seemed like the game script was set up so well for our pass rush to just end the game. And it was really nowhere to be found other than when we brought pressure on that 3rd and 10 before they converted the 4th and 10. A couple other things, like Jalen Reagor, every single time we put him in a game and we give him a chance, he does well. And then we can't wait to take him out of the game. So I don't really understand that. I can't wait for Ty Chandler to get back. I think he's a piece that everybody's forgotten about that could really add a burst. And then a couple more things here. Darisaw, we really miss him, obviously. I think we've done pretty well considering that we're 3-1 against the 4 best defenses in the league. So I think our fans are so passionate, but their expectations are probably a little bit too high. We've done very well against great competition. Mm-hmm. And then my last point is this. On offense, I don't really understand. Whoever is creating our screen pass execution needs to be fired. We're terrible at it.
That'd be Kevin O'Connell, actually.
Okay, well, then he needs some sort of assistant just for screen passes, because then conversely, on defense, whenever we see a screen pass, it's like the first time we've ever seen that type of play ever executed, and we're like caught off guard by it. I don't get it.
Dude, these are great stuff, Chris. Great stuff. Let's address a couple of these
See,
here,
Chris,
Ted.
the screen pass thing amazes me. O'Connell is an offensive guy. The screen pass has been a fundamental part of football offenses basically for how long? 75 years or something like that. I've never seen an ineffective screen so much as I've seen it this year, and I don't know why. Like, it should work. You've got the personnel. You've got the screen pass to Dalvin Cook should work. It's basically an extension of the run game. So it's a great point, but it feels like every time we see the Vikings try to run a screen, it's just discombobulated and gains about, if they're lucky, 2 yards. I have no explanation, but I'm willing to bet it's going to be examined very thoroughly in the spring, because there's no way that they're going to come back in 2023 with a screen game this bad.
I like Chris's idea. So they've got like a clock management coach you could see him down there a couple times in Kevin O'Connell's ear. Maybe we need just like a screen game coordinator coach. Just keep niching down with our coach specialist. Another point that Chris made that I 50% agree with, he said this was probably the best defensive output since week 1. I thought the first half of this game was the best defensive output of the season. Week 1, I guess you could say, like early on against the Packers too. But the second half was one of the worst halves of defense I remember this season. And so it kind of lands somewhere in the middle for an overall performance. But if I'm the Vikings, I would go back. I would do another day or two of self-scouting. What did you do in the first half of this game, and how can you carry that over into future games and a complete game? And again, I'm just spitballing here, but if rotating your edge rushers every other drive keeps everyone fresh and gives, like Patrick Jones had a sack because they allowed fresh legs in there, right? If doing that hurts some feelings and dings some snap count statistics, but it's more effective for your defense, you should keep doing that. And again, I don't know, I'd have to go see how many snaps did Brian Asamoah play, but there was a chunk where Asamoah played snaps for Jordan Hicks in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
Was that part of the reason why you had a couple nice drives? Because you had a faster linebacker on the field, right? I would look at everything you did in the first half and say, all right, what can we carry over into the next 2 or 3 games, starting with Detroit?
I do think that Dantzler returning, which I think he can. I think he's missed 4 games now, so I'm pretty sure he can come back against Detroit on Sunday. I think that'll help a lot too.
Yeah.
And Evans appears to have suffered a second concussion, which is really, really bad. So he's almost certainly going to be out against Detroit.
Yeah.
God bless him. Duke Shelley tries hard and makes some plays.
Dude, he had a couple nice plays.
He did.
Shelley Island, man.
He did, but he can also get beat. So I do think that the return of Dantzler will help. But the number one thing I want to know, because in the second half it felt like it went away, was where was the pressure? I would rather give up substantial passing yards getting pressure than to sit back and be like, oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like we keep coming back to this. But if we start sending extra, again, statistically, the Vikings came into this week as like the 5th lowest blitzing team in the NFL. So the philosophy is, well, if we send extra guys, it's not going to be effective because we're going to leave more openings on the back end. Okay, well, you're getting gashed more than any team outside of the Lions yardage wise this year. So, and maybe you clamp it down. I think I'm talking more between the 20s. I'm not saying you have to blitz all the time once the field gets condensed in the red zone, because the Vikings' red zone defense actually has been very opportunistic. They're kind of mid-pack in terms of, converting red zone trips into touchdowns. But to allow these teams to just move right past the 50 and then into scoring range, and it's just, it's been a week after week problem here. So, all right, who's next on Vikings Vent Line?
All right, let's try Sam again here on Vikings Vent Line. Sam, round 2. We'll see if the scripted play after the first drive works for us.
Oh, we can't hear you.
No, we can't hear him. I'm not sure.
Do you want to just draw your take like Bret Hart style or something? We'll try again. We'll put him back in. We'll try again.
Let's hold up signs.
All right. Yeah. Just do the Bert and Ernie like college football, basically. Let's go to Sean next on Vikings Vent Line. Said Sean, you got us.
Hey, I like the Bret Hart reference with the WCW. Very nice. A few things here. I think the fans are really negative for a 10-2 team. If you would have told me back in August that the Vikings were going to be 10-2 After playing several playoff teams in a row here, I would have taken that. I had them at 8 wins for this season. They really weren't supposed to be that great. We knew the defense was going to be a problem coming into the season. They were slow, aging. They had problems last year. So at 10-2, I'm extremely happy. I think people are being pretty negative about that. The strength of schedule, I think we have the 15th or 16th hardest schedule so far based on projected wins. Not great, but I think the Eagles are down at like the 30th strongest or something like that. And everyone's, just praising them. They've been playing some soft teams. We got out 3-1, as Declan said, against the top defenses in the league. Great. We've also been, as I said, playing these playoff teams. The Patriots built a 20-year dynasty, winning close games in playoffs by field goals. They won Super Bowls by field goals. Your goal of the show and your motto is to win a Super Bowl before we die. It's not to blow out teams in the regular season. It's to close games off, win games, and then get in the postseason. And it's all going to be close games. Very few games in the postseason are blowouts or easy games. These are the kind of games that you play. And I think this team is battle tested. We played the Jets, who are another great fourth quarter team, another team that wins these close games, and we beat them at their own game. I don't see anything wrong with that. I think 10-2 is 10-2, and we beat some good teams doing it. That's all I got for you guys. I'm going to leave.
Awesome, man. Sean, great stuff. Great stuff from Sean. I think it's also kind of trippy because how many times in your life watching the Vikings have you seen the opposite of this? You've seen some of those Mike Tice teams, or even like maybe the Brett Favre team in 09, the 98 team for sure at the end, where they can kind of move through games and rack up all these yards, and then they lose in the end because they're not clutch inside 4 minutes or something. And this team is the exact opposite, where every game it's like they just disappear for an hour or more.
Yes.
And then they just come alive with a big interception or a big offensive drive or something. Some of this is just our brains aren't wired to accept a Vikings team like this because it hasn't really happened much in our lives.
The third quarters are weird too, though. Like they to use your word, disappear, and it's like, what happened here? And then they come back and play well. I think playoff wise, though, the one thing that I would like to have is a little bit more confidence in the defense. That it's not going to stop teams, but there are times like in the second half today where they're just getting gashed, and it's like, God, if you're playing San Francisco or something in a playoff game, this is going to be really difficult. And you can only expect your offense to carry you so much. So I think that's the trepidation, is that the defense at times and that's why the first half was great, because you're like, okay, this is a sound improvement. And then in the second half, not so much. So I think that's where the concern comes in for sure.
But at some point, and we can spend the week hashing this out on Purple Daily, but at some point, concern about the process has to just sort of not fade completely, but it's December.
Yeah.
They're 10-2. So we're sitting here and we're like, man, if they keep doing this, then the rug is going to get pulled out. It's like, well, they already have banked 10 wins. They're guaranteed, even if they like slow down, they're a 12-win team with their process. So that's what I'm having a hard time.
But we want a playoff run, and I can tell you right now how this defense plays for gaps of time is not conducive to that run. Like the Dallas game meant something. Now, it was one game, and that's fine. But the offense frustrates fans, I think, a bit because it's not more explosive. But to me, it's a work in progress, and it's going to be, and it's developing, and they do some really good things. So, like, I'm not, Kirk, I think Kirk's played great. He didn't play great today, but you know what he did? He won, and he also made some gutsy plays. Defensively, and this is why I don't know if Ed is the guy. Defensively, I would like to see a nod to, I feel very much like this is the old Childress. This is my philosophy, and it should work, as opposed to what O'Connell does offensively, which I think at times is, I have a philosophy, but I also have people playing who I know what they can do. That's where I would like to see, like the first half, we saw the defense do some really good things, and then they sort of pulled back on that. I mean, the most important thing is to get the most from the players you have.
And the reality might wind up being because I don't like disagree with anything you just said. The defense needs to be better. And maybe at the end of the day, it's a really good run. It's a really good team that's going to win 13 games or something, and they're not destined to win the Super Bowl. And then the entire offseason, we can sit here and say, all right, well, what are the 2 or 3 major things that need to be changed? Maybe it is defensive scheme. It is getting younger, faster on defense. So it's like, fortunately for the Vikings, with how young they are on offense, their entire offensive line, and they might have to make some changes if Bradbury becomes a free agent, whatever. But all those dudes are 27 and younger. Justin Jefferson is 23. The Kirk thing will continue to be a conversation long term, but it's not like this is the year and then the window's closing necessarily. And
Right.
you shouldn't take windows for granted in the NFL, but this at least feels like the beginning of something that they're building, as opposed to like, oh my God, this is the only chance they're going to have. Let's keep it rolling here. Vikings Vent Line.
All right, let's go next to Sarah on Vikings Vent Line. Hi, Sarah.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
We got you, Sarah. Welcome in.
Well, first time caller. I've been listening to you guys for a while. Huge Vikings fan. Grew up bleeding purple, unfortunately. Couple things to note. I agree with you guys on the defense. I feel like something needs to happen to where we can make some of those big stops, make some of those big plays not as big. But one thing that I noticed more so this game, but leading into this as well, is we actually have some depth in our defense. Some of those guys that are coming in, they're young, but they're still making some of those big plays. And you look at it in the first half, you've got Evans making a huge play. You've got Duke Shelley coming in, making huge plays. So yes, they're young, and yes, there's a lot that needs to be done to make it a really good defense. But we've got young guys in that spot. We've got Cam Dancer out, who should be coming back, hopefully next week or two. But we've got some depth on the chart. We've got some depth in our line that maybe we haven't seen in the past as well.
Yeah.
Another thing, I think that these games are a lot harder on us as fans than the team. And I think you can see that. Us as fans, we get so stressed. My heart rate was obviously going, I think, for every game this season. But if you look at the team, they don't seem like they are stressing. They seem like they are ready for the next play. Sometimes it doesn't look like it, but they are actually coming up and stepping up for the game.
Yeah, I think, Sarah, some great points here, Sarah. Thanks for coming on Vikings Vent Line here. I think to her first point, too, we look at some of the starters on defense, and half of them are old by football standards. But then, like, when a Caleb Evans comes in and flashes this season, or Patrick Jones, I'm not saying he's a Pro Bowler, but Patrick Jones can play, man. And he's young. He was drafted 2 years ago. So they do. I don't know that they have super high-end talent. We need to see Lewis Seen's future if he comes back from the injury, right? Is Booth going to be a guy that can be a starting cornerback for you? I think there's some huge question marks with some of these young guys. But, yeah, I mean, there are some good young. We don't really know on Asamoah. They don't give enough playing time to even find out. And at some point, he will play more.
She brings up a great point, too, because this team does not seem to be like they play these incredibly tight games, but they don't seem uptight. In the first quarter today, Kirk was not good. He just had a bad, the whole offense looked out of sync.
Hater.
At the end of the quarter, Kevin O'Connell came over to Kirk on the field, walked down the sideline to start the second quarter with him, and was just in his ear the whole time, just talking about. So I do think that she's exactly right. The way that this team is coached is to be not laid back. That's too strong a word, but to be calm, to remain calm. So it doesn't appear, it's weird. It doesn't appear the circumstances they put themselves in actually affect them.
Yeah. No, they feel, they do feel very comfortable while the fans, like Sarah said, are sitting here and your pulse is at 135, just popping out of your neck. The Vikings seem like, hey, this is a weekly thing for us. We're leaning into being this team that finds a way to win close games, as opposed to maybe being uncomfortable with it under Mike Zimmer for a couple years. We'll get right back to the vent lines here in just a second. But we have a new official sports bar of the sports dad, Judd Zolgad, and it is Park Tavern in St. Louis Park.
Yes, right off of Louisiana Avenue South, and I'm going to show you an offer right now that was an offer on Black Friday. But if you are a Score North PD fan, guess what? It's still available to you. In fact, it's available through December. Buy a $100 gift card, get a $50 bonus gift card. Now, right now, if you don't go in and say that you heard about this on Score North, it's only a $25 bonus, but $50 bonus if you go in and say Sports Dad and Phil and Declan told me to come on down. Also, if you've got a party to plan, guess what? Park Tavern is the perfect place. 952-929-6810 or visit parktavern.net. Guys, be a hero. If your wife or girlfriend has a party that you're supposed to plan and you're like, what am I going to do? Parktavern.net. They will take care of you completely. Park Tavern, I'll see you there for a couple Surleys.
And think about just all the different. So it's such a great place for group gatherings. I've had numerous fantasy football drafts there. They specialize in your group gatherings, whether it's fantasy football. Just think about the 10, 15, 20 different types of group gatherings you could have. Bachelor part, whatever, like pregame tailgate. There's so many things. Get creative with how Park Tavern can help you with a group outing of some kind. And also, I've seen a lot of people today sending us pictures of their cans, their Surly cans from inside U.S. Bank Stadium and elsewhere. The official victory beer of Purple Daily is Surly, Judd.
And that's because on this show, how often do we say the magic words, which is show us your cans, and then you do it, and we love it. It could be a Furious. It could be Before I Die, Logic Bomb. I could go down the list of delicious beverages from Surly, but each one of them is special in their own right. It's like having a running back and a quarterback and a left tackle. They might be different, but together they make up the Surly family, and that is a family that, when it comes to beer, wins a lot of times. By the way, if you want a Before I Die, I am told still available here, U.S. Bank Stadium, 3rd floor.
Oh, okay.
Third, so you got to go up to the 3rd level of the stadium, but I'm told that you can still land a Before I Die beverage from Surly here at the stadium.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, let's keep it rolling here. Vikings Vent Line on the Purple Daily YouTube channel.
Let's go to Big Ant from North Carolina. What's up?
What's up, big dogs? Go!
What's going on, dude?
Go! Yes. Hey, man, we're in the building. It's not many fans out here in North Carolina, so it's just me, and it's crazy. My wife's a Cowboys fan, so I've been getting it bad for a while. My first game, NFL game, was the Redskins game the Commanders game a couple weeks ago. So that was amazing. But this bend don't break mentality, dog. It's hard to watch. Like it's killing my soul sometimes. Like I want to watch the game, but it's just like, you're killing me, dog. You're killing me. So we got to do something about that. And there's something about in the third quarter where the game just gets boring. Like it's like the offense isn't doing anything. The defense is letting everything go. It's just not fun to watch sometimes in the third. But we got to protect Kirk some more, because some of those shots he took today was insane. Even JJ took some shots where I was not a fan to watch that. And the last thing is, what's up with Thielen running backwards? Like he is.
Thank you.
Running backwards.
I know
every game.
I figured it out.
And I got a Thielen jersey on. I'm like, I'm about to retire this jersey because you don't want to gain yards. You want to lose them. So, and by the way, y'all got to get some Surlys out here in Carolina. I want to get some. So.
Surly Dave, if you're watching or listening right now. Let's get in all 50 states here. Omar, Surly Dave, let's make this happen, guys. Come on now.
Yeah, man. Hey, Judd, you losing too much weight for the big dogs. You got to do something for the big. You got to hold it down. For
you need me to gain some weight back. Sorry, man.
Judd has gone from being an interior defensive lineman to now being a slot cornerback.
Yeah, you know how those offensive linemen do. When the offensive linemen retire after a while, they just get all skinny, and it's insane.
Super skinny.
That's Judd.
Jeff Saturday.
He's got those Jeff Saturday, Matt Burke abdominal muscles now.
I'm not ripped. No. Never seen a muscle in my stomach ever, so don't worry about that.
God.
That's amazing. Big Ant, thanks for coming on, man.
Hey, appreciate you guys, man. I'll be coming in all the time.
You're awesome.
Dude, yeah, okay. Adam Thielen.
I got the answer.
Every game, he's like, he's either going sideways or trying to do the old, like,
You want to know why? I know exactly why. Because he's done it now enough. He never did this, I don't remember previously, this much. It's because he's so slow that he's trying to get a head of steam back up to circle back.
Yeah.
That makes no
So-
sense.
Okay. He
But
catches the ball and he
his
stops.
logic. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying watch it. He catches
Yeah.
the ball and he ordinarily has to sort of come to a stop. Okay. He can't plant and turn then with any speed, right? So
Then
what he's doing
that's
is he
fine.
goes
Just
back.
dive forward for 2 more yards. That's all we.
Hold on a second. I'm explaining it. Sports Dad's explaining it. I'm not defending it. I don't like it either. I think it's ridiculous.
We're
He's
here to
losing
kill the
yards.
messenger right now.
Yeah.
So be careful.
He's losing yardage. and for the person who brought it up before, I will say this. Jalen Reagor not being used more is making less and less sense.
Yeah, it feels like there's a huge chunk play in there almost every time he.
Well, and he can get the ball and run with it. Like that's the other thing is yak is a fundamental, very important thing of this league. Unfortunately, 19 don't have a lot of yak left in those legs.
R.I.P. to Declan's Jalen Reagor. Write that down. He had the 38-yard catch in the first half, and that's the only time they went to him.
I thought didn't he have an 8-yard gain today too, or was it a target that he missed? I thought he had 2 receptions.
He had an 8-yard run because
was it a
Kirk
run?
turned around
Dang.
and handed it to him.
Ah, God.
Those are the tough beats.
The game.
The tough beats, and write that down. All right, who's next on Vikings Vent Line?
Sure, let's go to Jeremy next here on Vikings Vent Line. Jeremy, what's up, man? Oh, you're muted. You just got to unmute yourself here on this end, and then you'll be all good.
Sorry
There you
about
go.
that. I was doing a bunch of cooking and had that on there. Hey, thanks for taking this. I just want to say to the guy that called in earlier and said the defense was not exciting. Are you kidding me? That defense is all exciting. I mean, all the bending, how far can you bend without breaking? And they showed up when you got down inside the 5. I mean, talk about heart rates going up after that, after going 3 straight runs and being right in the back in the same spot. Oh my gosh. I mean, Judd, I've only got you by a few months in age. And I mean, my heart rate is I'm still 90 plus. Still rolling here.
I know. Cardiac kids, like someone said.
Yeah, no kidding. But yeah, I mean, Kirko Chains is awesome. If we had that guy for 60 minutes a game, we'd be blowing teams out like we did in 98. And it'd be fantastic. But Kirk comes out and to start the game, I mean, that was a rough start. I mean, that was heart rate goes up right there and it's tough. But when he comes in and he turns on Kirko, it's awesome. I think we need to see the kid in the stands a few more times on the broadcast, but that's all I got, guys. I just thank you. You guys are awesome. Surly, we definitely need it out here on the West Coast. Come on, Phil. We need to get that here. I'm only three hours south of you, and we need to get
Omar.
that.
What do we? Omar and Surly Dave. We'll see what we can do. By the way, what are we cooking back there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a pot roast I'm heating up back there and going to throw it in a cast iron pan pretty quick.
Oh,
I'm on my
dirty.
way.
Yes.
I'm
Come
on my
in,
way,
let's
man.
roll.
I'm jumping
All right,
on a
let's
plane.
roll, brothers. Let's roll.
All right. Thanks, man.
Thanks, dude.
Yes. Let's keep it going here, Vikings fan. Yeah. If you're cooking dinner right now, I think you're
By all means, yeah.
obligated to show us what you're cooking here. What do we got next?
All right, let's try it again. Sam.
All right,
you
can
got
you hear me
us
this
now?
time?
Yeah.
Yes.
We got Sam.
Yes.
Hold on. Let's get the flag for
Let's
Sam.
put the flag.
There we go. There we go.
Good job, Sam.
All right. What's up, Sam?
Oh, not much. I took some notes. I've learned from Judd.
There you go.
A couple of things today. The big thing I think is the mental attitude you have to have watching this defense. So for years, we always looked at Kirk Cousins and we said he's getting stats, but he's not winning games.
Yep.
I think it's the exact opposite with this defense now. I think we have to look at them and say, you know what? They're not going to put up stats. They're not going to, they're going to be giving up those big plays, but they're doing what it takes to win games. And I think that's the only way I've kept my heart rate below 150 watching the last couple games is just kind of keeping that mentality, knowing that when it comes to the red zone, they're going to have something dialed up. They're creating more opportunities for turnovers, and the veterans are looking at those routes and starting to pick them off near the end of the game when it matters.
Yeah. Yes, I think. So with Kirk, real quick, and thank you. Sam. This is a good point. We're glad we got your volume to work here. I think we have to tweak the Kirk thing because it's not necessarily about like he's not putting up stats, but he's winning games. To me, he's not putting up stats, but he is in these high leverage situations mostly. We went over on Thursday that if you look at like some of the advanced analytics in close fourth quarter situations, he's second in expected points added for quarterbacks behind only Patrick Mahomes. He's sixth in average air yards per throw in late and close situations, behind only like Mahomes and Josh Allen, some other guys. So it's one thing if you're not putting up stats and you're just kind of along for the ride while your team wins, which we've seen before. Like that was Christian Ponder when they won a division in 2012. That was Tavares Jackson when they won a division in 2008.
Right.
There's other, like Mitch Trubisky with the Bears, was kind of just along for the ride. He's not just along for the ride. He hasn't performed as well over the course of like a season and 3 hours complete every game, but he has performed much, 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 much better in close games in the fourth quarter than at any point in his career. And so he is actively contributing to the winning process.
Yes.
So I just want to make that distinction. He's not just along for the ride. Oh, he's winning games. No, he is helping deliver wins, but it'd be nice if he just like maybe delivered a little bit more cushion sometimes in the second and third quarters of some of these games.
I just don't buy into his previous stats. His stats parade was to me tiresome. And it's like, okay, his stats are good, but what are they doing? So like when now there's the conversation about, well, stats aren't good. And I'm like, okay, but does he help win games? And the answer to that is yes. He is playing an active role in winning games. And I would far rather see that in some rough statistical days, but still, you know what? He's not submarining games for sure, because they've won 10 games. I mean, the Dallas loss is not a Kirk problem. The team stunk. The Philadelphia loss is partially on Kirk, but not solely. That's why my biggest concern always lies with the factors that I think prevent or allow wins. And like when I look at a playoff game, I'm curious about Kirk. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like fully bought in, but with what Kirk has done here for O'Connell, I'm pretty confident that he can have a successful day. My concern is the defense, because when I look at this defense play and I extrapolate it to be like, okay, you're playing San Francisco, which has a lot of talent there. Could your defense be in trouble? I mean, the thing about today is, and he put up a great stats again, but I mean, Mike White could get flustered. Like you can fluster Mike White. Can you fluster Garoppolo? And so my biggest thing in watching football games is what would prevent you from winning a really important game. And I used to think Kirk. I don't think that now.
He's not Patrick Mahomes.
No.
So he absolutely, like today, he was atrocious largely, but showed up huge on a second quarter drive where they needed him.
Yep.
And showed up in a couple other moments here and there. So he's definitely still rickety against pressure defenses.
Yes.
But he's been able to punch back more with this head coach, with this offensive scheme. In fact, there's reports in the locker room after the game today. Kevin O'Connell told the media Kirk Cousins addressed the team after the game and pointed to how tough teams persevere. Like he's carrying that torch more often now than he was a few years ago.
And you see that though, right? Like we've talked about this a lot. And to me, because football is so flawed and games are so flawed, what's the most important thing? It's that your quarterback doesn't get flustered and give up. And I felt that there were times where today would have flustered Kirk to no end, and it probably would have cost him the game. You know what? Today, second half from 2018 through 2021, second half, Kirk throws a big pick. No question about it. He throws a big pick. He melts down. He makes a stupid play, and he throws a big pick. If I have to put together right now a list of things that concern me about the Vikings in the playoffs, up until this year, Kirk probably would have been near the top of that list. He's on the list now, but he's not at the top of that list now.
Yeah. Let's keep rolling here. We're almost an hour in to Vikings Vent Line on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. If you could click the subscribe button and the like button, if you haven't already, it helps us grow this community of Vikings fans that you guys are a part of here on a weekly basis for Vent Line, daily basis for Purple Daily, the show itself. Declan, who is next on Vent Line?
Let's go to Martel next on Vikings Vent Line. Martel, what's up, dude? Oh, you just got to unmute yourself, Martel, on this site, and then you're good.
Rookie mistake.
There we go.
Hey, guys. Love the show. I've been listening pre-pandemic on the radio, and then when I'm working from home, I'm listening on YouTube and trying to get my work done. But love the show. You guys are doing great. You're building a big audience of Vikings fans, and we need that. But yeah, I just want a couple quick notes. On the defense, we're making plays when it matters the most. And like when you look at it, yeah, we're giving up yards, but when we needed that stop at the end with the interception, you came through. And we're going to have to just live with that right now because it is what it is. We're going to have to – this defense ain't going to get better until the offseason. So we're just going to have to live with these close games. On offense here, okay, Miami, Washington, Buffalo, New England, Jets, and the Giants, possibly the Giants, are all above 500, and we beat these teams. They have good defenses, and we beat them. So we're putting fear into teams that think they have good defenses. They don't want to see us because we're winning these games, and that's a really big point. And last note before I finish here, this reminds me of when the Bucs had Tony Dungy fired, and John Gruden comes in, takes them to that Super Bowl. This team still has Zimmer and Rich Spielman's blueprint, right? Because our picks haven't really matched up to anything yet. They're still young or they're injured. But you bring someone in with this offensive mind who already had a really good team, and he's taking it to the max. And I think, we're going to go far. That's it. Thanks.
Martell, bringing the optimism. Thank you for the kind words, too. Real quick on those defenses. So they've now faced Bills, Cowboys, Patriots, Jets, the 4 best defenses in the NFL in terms of points, I believe. And the Vikings have scored 33, 33, 27, 3 against the Cowboys. You don't just get to throw that one or flush it. But in 3 of the 4 games, they have scored 33, 33, and 27 against those defenses. That's pretty damn good. So this offense continues to find ways, even if it doesn't look pretty all the time, or if, sometimes like today, Kirk just got no help from the offensive line, and the secondary was seemingly all over everyone. They still found a way to, I don't know how, but they still found a way to score 27 points offensively in that game. Let's go to our next guest here on Vikings Vent Line.
Let's go to Tommy next up. Tommy, what's up, pal?
Howdy, how you guys doing?
What's up, dude?
What's up, man? I've been listening to you guys for a long time. I drive a lot for work, and honestly, it's how I spend a lot of time on the road, so I appreciate y'all. But I have a hot take for you guys. I know it's not really the right day of the week, but I am going to knock on wood before this one. Kirk Cousins is the toughest quarterback in the NFL. That dude gets hit a lot, and he always seems to hold in there, and he's a tough quarterback. I don't know. I think he is the toughest in the NFL, at least in what I've seen. So
yeah, today there was a couple times where he just got full on like Roman Reigns speared by 250-pound defenders. At one point he went back to the bench, kind of like hunched over and gritting his teeth, and the trainer
the
came
first
over.
half,
and,
he got annihilated.
Yeah,
by
and
guy's
helmet right to the back of his shoulder. It was like, oof, but yeah.
Yep.
But I appreciate y'all. I hope you guys have a good one.
Tommy, thank you, man.
too.
Appreciate you consuming on a daily basis.
Kirk got drilled there, and I believe the cameras, which did a pretty good job following him, picked up what clearly to me was a rare Kirk
An F-bomb. We had an F-bomb.
Yeah, that was not a freaking frack.
No, that was all, and he might have thought that he was just kind of on his own walking off the field, but
that was
the CBS eye is always watching.
Hello, friend.
I thought Ian Eagle and Charles Davis were great today on the broadcast.
They're really good.
Oh, they're both really good.
And the CBS Skycam buying or securing the Jets reversal for that touchdown call, because if the CBS Skycam's not there, I don't know if that call gets overturned. He was in, but if they didn't have that angle.
Ooh, that's a good point.
I don't know if that gets overturned.
Yeah, you're right. Screwed by technology.
Thanks,
Ian.
CBS. All right, who's next?
Let's go to Jake next on Vent Line. Jake, what's up, man?
How you guys doing?
Good, Jake.
Good, man. Nice bucket. Brad Childress bucket hat in play here.
Yeah,
it's a nice one.
You got to give your take in your Brad Childress voice now. I feel like
I can't. I'm not doing it. Nope, Jug can do it. Nope,
no, Phil's the Childress expert as far as
Naufa Hutahi. Okay, sorry, Jake, go ahead.
All right. Actually, I believe today was Kirk Cousins' 31st win at a noon game.
Wow, Kirk Cousins, the noon champion of the NFL.
Which, if you look at the stats, it's like 2 out of every 3. So he's 2-1 typically on his noon games. So just a little stat for you boys there.
Very
and
nice.
a question for Judd real quick. How is the temperature of the stadium today? Is it a little warm?
Temperature of the stadium?
Yeah, I'm serious. Because I have a theory here.
It was pleasant. I mean, it might have been a little warm.
I saw a
don't
little
know.
extra, sweat perspiration off of, Cousins' brow today, and I thought maybe, I don't know, a few of those early passes he just was letting slip. A few of them just did not come out right. And it was either that, or it was either we were going back to the 2019 saga about the butt sweat.
Oh, from Bradbury.
Oh, that's been an issue. Yeah. Has
No,
Bradbury?
maybe it's a little warm in there. It's getting cold nowadays. Maybe the person running the temperature of the stadium, it was up a couple of degrees, and that's all it takes.
I think Cousins knew the pressure that was coming from the Jets and started to sweat because he knew that this was going to be tough.
It's a noon game though, Judd. He's not concerned.
Yeah, I think you're onto something with the butt sweat here. I don't know that we ever confirmed that it was a problem that was solved.
It could be a mixture of both. But on top of that, let me before you cut me off here, I do see Cousins. I think Cousins is going to be around for another 3 or 4 years. I think they extend him a few years. Not, we maybe aren't thrilled, but I think for how the team's looking, Jefferson's going to get his contract. But is Jefferson going to want to be here if we're not sure what the QB situation is going to be? Does he want some rookie who can't throwing him the ball? I think that's the number one reason why Cousins stays, just because his camaraderie. That's just what's going to happen. So it allows us for the next 2 seasons or so to kind of flip the defense because, we have 6 or 7 aging parts. I could see the linebackers going next year. Maybe draft an early linebacker in there. I think we got enough young talent at corner to be fine. I would try and get Peterson back at all costs. We have hopefully our safeties come back healthy next year with Cian. And then the D-line, I don't even know. I would say bring back Dalvin Tomlinson because I think he's the big presence in our D-line. And I think he's got a player option or something for next year. But those are probably my, 25 cents on that.
No, it's good stuff, Jay. We'll investigate the temperature inside US Bank Stadium today because I love a good theory. I like a good conspiracy theory, and so Jake might be onto something.
He was sweating way too early. He was sweating way too fast in that game, especially for being leading the game too.
I think Jake. Thanks for coming on Vent Line.
Now
we'll get our people on. I mean, you're in the building. You tell
us
it's 72. I mean, it's even like a couple degrees. I'll tell you.
Do I look hot? Like my face isn't flushed. I got no sweat coming.
I go to bed. I could tell you going to bed in like a hotel or anywhere.
Yeah.
I can tell the difference between going to bed at 70 degrees versus 72.
Oh, yeah.
68 degrees and 71 degrees.
100%.
3 degrees can make a huge difference. If it was a little too hot in there, I think we need to ask Kirk O'Chains, what is your preferred temperature to operate the offense in? And we will hone the temperature inside US Bank Stadium to that exact mark.
I also, though, feel like Kirk's the dad enough where if you touch the thermostat, he knows immediately.
Yeah, dude.
Don't turn it up on Kirk.
You do
Kirk
not
wants to save that money.
My dad had that gene. If someone had the audacity to move it a half degree, he was Peter Griffin running up the stairs going, who touched the thermostat? Who did that? Yes, I can see him being.
That drove me crazy.
My late father, he's 80 years old when he passed away a couple months ago. And the last few years, he lived in Arizona. And he would have the thermostat set to 80 or 81 degrees inside of his condo.
Oh, my God.
And at one point, I was like, Dad, I think I said, Dad, it's really hot in here. Is there any way we could bump it down? He goes, well, I bumped it down to 79. I was like, yeah, Dad, that's like 10 degrees higher than most people have their thermostat.
How hot was this? I mean, that's incredibly hot.
Like, dude, can you put, we always wore mesh shorts, in a sleeveless shirt. I'm like, can you just put a sweatshirt on, please?
I wear mesh shorts, and I still have it at 68, I think, in my house.
It's a little much.
Anyhow, who's next on Vikings Vent Line?
Henry, what's up, dude?
Hey, guys, can you hear me?
Yeah.
We got you, Henry, yeah.
I just started tuning into Vent Line this year, and I feel like with how good the team is, most of these are still pretty negative. We're 10-2, so I'm going to throw in a little positivity. First,
Love it.
Greg Joseph, money today.
Yeah, man.
And this was the game that Judd has been warning us about, where a missed field goal would have cost us because the Jets would have just kicked it on that last drive.
Yes.
So shout out to Greg Joseph. In the words of Declan, we do not have a kicking problem.
Declan vindicated.
Yep.
Yeah.
Vindicated.
Until the playoffs.
Couldn't possibly come back around at any point based on Vikings history.
Yeah,
right?
for tomorrow.
Gary Hottest take coming tomorrow.
Second thing is it's kind of awesome how many weapons the Vikings have on offense and defense. So I know a lot of the games have been following the same narrative But if you look at it, like so many different things have happened throughout the season. I bet we're actually like really hard to game plan for, because if you think about it, last game, Kirk throws for 300, 3 touchdowns, Jefferson unstoppable, Dalvin has nothing going. This week, we're running the ball all over him. A few weeks ago against the Commanders, maybe it's, TJ Hawkinson with 9 receptions. On defense, maybe it's Peterson getting an interception. Now it's Harrison, and then earlier in the season it was Za'Darius, and then Daniil. I feel like there's just so many people that can make plays, and that's the reason that we're 9-2 or 10-2 now, because like there's too many things that can go right for us.
Yeah, and there's a lot of guys that are just going to, like, if the defense has been bad all day, there's enough veteran guys that know what they're doing. I mean, Harrison Smith almost had two additional interceptions today.
Exactly.
Patrick Peterson had the game-winning interception a few weeks ago, right?
Especially down in the red zone. Yeah, that's where like the veteran and then the smarts really comes through. So
yeah. Good stuff, Henry. Thanks for coming on Vikings Vent Line, man. Appreciate it. Keep the train moving here.
Yeah, let's go back to one of our regulars too. Acuni.
What's going on, guys? How you guys doing?
What's up, Acuni?
All right. So I'm going to say a few things about the offense and defense. Then my dog would like to meet you at the end. So
we're all in. We're all in.
All right. So Kirk, he made me so angry today. He missed at least a couple fingers on each hand of passes to TJ Hawkinson today, to Justin Jefferson a little bit behind his back, to Adam Thielen near the end zone. Like that angered me to no point, because those passes, he wasn't really getting pressured. It's like what you guys used to always get mad at him about being flustered and the gritting of the teeth and, like fidgety like that. Like, because that's why I feel like the third quarter, you guys are blaming it on the defense. I don't really blame the defense. If he had made some of those passes, we would have been on the field longer. We could have gave them a breath. And you said, Phil, shuffle out the D-line. I think we could have gave them an extra breather and they could have been fresher and they wouldn't have had that bad of a third quarter. Regarding the defense, where has Za'Darius been these last few weeks? And why is it when he's just about to tackle or sack somebody, he just misses them? I've seen that 3 or 4 times these last few weeks. And it's I don't know what's going on. If he's injured, get him out of the game. I'd rather see Patrick Jones. He's got more burst, I think, and he just has more energy, I think, to get to the quarterback. And I think it would help out our pass defense so much more, because the pass rush just hasn't been there like it has the first half of the season, where Za'Darius, it seemed like he was unstoppable. He had like 7 sacks in the first 4 or 5 games, but now I don't know where he is. It's like I need a magnifying glass to find him. Regarding the playoffs, though, Judd, I think you guys need to calm down. You guys especially need to calm down on the aging players. I think, yes, they are aging. Now I'll give you Jordan Hicks. Get rid of him. I completely give. He's too slow. He can't cover anybody. He works more in I don't have to run. I just have to, when the ball's thrown, go and try and deflect it. But Kendricks, I completely disagree. I think Kendricks still has plenty of years of playing time left. Harrison, I still think he has plenty of years of playing time left. And Dalvin, I think Dalvin is being misunderstood. I think he's picking and choosing when he wants to put on that burst, just during the right times of the game when he feels like it's going to be most advantageous. Because today, I mean, he was just awesome today. The burst was there, the agility was there. I don't think he's only 28, guys. Let's not. The contracts, I completely agree. The contracts are going to be something that we have to deal with, but I don't think that we should just get rid of these players because of a number. Okay, so those are my points. Thanks for having me on. And then Kobe, come here. Come here, buddy.
Is it Kobe?
Come here, buddy.
Kobe.
Yeah, his name's Kobe. He's right here. He doesn't want to say hi right now.
Oh, Kobe.
He doesn't want to say hi.
Kobe.
And he's perking up.
There he is. There he is.
Oh, Kobe.
All right, there he is.
Oh, Cooney, thanks for coming on, dude. Let's address a couple of just on the Za'Darius front real quick. Yeah, I don't have the snap counts in front of me, but he did not play nearly as much in the first half today for sure, and neither did Daniil Hunter. They were rotating those guys out. So I think Za'Darius is still banged up. Patrick Jones came in and did pretty well, just sort of spelling him. So as you keep racking up these wins, you're about to clinch the division here. If not against the Lions, you're going to clinch it, sometime shortly after. If you have to sit him for 2 weeks, sit him for 2 weeks. He should be healthy and as healthy as possible in January, instead of just like dragging his leg around,
right?
Playing at half strength or whatever.
Right.
And on the old players front, this is another thing you're going to have to confront. It's not just players being old and slowing down. Older players also make more money usually. And so whether it's Dalvin Cook or like Patrick Peterson makes a decent chunk of money, and Eric Hendricks is one of the highest paid players on the team, and Jordan Hicks, just to bring a veteran in, makes a lot of money. So if you're paying these guys a lot of money and they're not contributing at the level that they used to 3 years ago, it's then hard. Okay, now we're going to add a Justin Jefferson contract in a couple years, and TJ Hawkinson's going to get an extension. Christian Darrisaw is going to get an extension at some point. So
right. Second contracts are the most important. You need to take care of players on that. At that point in time, you have to consider cutting bait with veteran players who fans like. And Dalvin Cook at 28 is really old for that position. Like a 28-year-old, the cliff is 30. And so like 28 is old. I thought Kendricks had a nice game today. But I mean, when it comes down to what you're talking about, Phil, which is the financial salary cap implications, you can't keep them all and continue to pay them. And I don't think that there's any case to be made if you like a guy going into a second contract to like cut bait there to keep a veteran player. So yeah, this is all sort of trying to make the call at the exact right time. And I will say this on veterans, I would rather make the call slightly too early than too late, because if it's too late, you're really screwed.
All right, who's next, Declan, on Vikings Vent Line?
Let's go to Jay next here. Jay, what's up?
Hey, what's up? J-Bone from Austin, Texas. Skull, great win. I want to remind people, this was a great team that we beat today, the Jets. Fact number one, Zach Wilson, crappy quarterback, led this team to a winning record. And then they had actually good quarterback today. This Mike White guy looked pretty impressive. Great victory. We got it done. I think Darrisaw is the fulcrum going forward. We get him back, get some pass protection on the blind side. Things are looking up. Positive vibes only.
Love it.
Let's go.
J-Bone, bringing the positive vibes here. Thanks for coming on Vikings Vent Line. Bringing the energy, too.
Fulcrum.
Good stuff,
Drop
man.
the
And
fulcrum
using
on
the
us.
word fulcrum. Yes.
Hey, Bob, I did not see that coming. That was awesome.
We should do at the end of each episode, we should rank like the 5 best words that were used. Fulcrum would definitely be up there. It's a good word.
Oh, yeah. Out of nowhere, too.
All right, Dex, who's next?
All right, let's go to Daniel next here. Daniel, what's up, pal?
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Kind of.
What's going on? Kinda. Is that better?
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah. That works. Yeah.
Hey, so what's up? Another great win. I'm drinking a nice beer out of my Vikings Stein that my roommate got me after the week 3 game. We've only lost 1 game since he got this for me.
Very nice.
It's an old 1999 Miller one.
That's
so
great.
a couple notes on the game. Greg is not Greg the Leg yet, but he's past Gregory. He's back to Greg. He made a perfect game. He made over a 50-yard field goal, so we can't ask for much more. We're also 4-0 against the AFC East, and they're all over 500 except the Pats, who are 6-6. We beat them, though, so perfect against them. 3-1 the last 4 weeks against the top 4 defenses in football. That's really great. And we should have won. This should have been a game we won by more than 10. That drive where Kirk overthrew TJ and then JJ dropped that pass, that kind of killed it. But we can't complain. We're 10-2.
Yeah,
we put 27 points up on a defense that's given up 13 a game over the last 5.
Over the last 7 games, 13
7
and a half.
games.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, they've been. I agree. I mean, there's a bunch of things to nitpick and stuff, and we do, but
we always do. But
to beat these defenses and to score points against some of these defenses and to roll through that division, that's one of the best divisions in the league.
Yep.
Now, in fairness, you didn't get the Tua-led Dolphins in the one game, so how would that game have played out differently? I guess the only way we can find out is if they meet again sometime in early February.
Rematch of
Mm-hmm.
the Bob Greasy-led Dolphins against Francis Tarkington and the Vikings.
Where everyone has to wear a Larry Zonka helmet with the giant, like,
Larry
half
Zonka,
circle
man.
bar that came down over your
What a
nose.
pain in the ass he was to play against. Oh, boy.
There's always had, like, blood running down his face into his mustache.
Johnny Riggins, Larry Zonka, these guys were football. They had the body of a fullback, the ability of a running back.
They always had they'd like set their cigarette down right before the ball was snapped. Just lay it down on the grass and go take the hand
their
off.
beer. They'd peel the can back, those old can openers. They'd peel it back, throw it in the beer, slam the beer.
Yes. Football. All right, Declan, who's next on Vent Line?
Let's go to Dennis here. Dennis, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, fellas? You guys can hear me, right?
We got you, Dennis. Yeah, man.
All right, man. I listen to you guys every day. I've been a diehard Viking fan since Randy Moss in 1998. I'm in Chicago with a lot of delusional Bear fans, so you guys make my day every day.
Awesome.
And also, I want to shout out to my wife because she bought me some AirPods because I used to listen to you guys while I was cooking every day, and she got tired of me listening to you all, so she bought me some AirPods.
She hates us so much that she bought you AirPods. That's great.
Yeah, but make a long story short, I want to go ahead and just talk about today's game. Great win. I thought we was gonna get that blowout that we all been looking for. That pivotal game where we just show everybody in the NFC and the AFC that we're a Super Bowl contender. It came close again. Another nail biter. I've been drinking, having a great time. But also, I think that we need to, when we're struggling on offense, like in the third quarter when it gets weird, we need to start doing a little bit more up-tempo. I like when we run that up-tempo offense when Kirk is, having his hands on his headset, he's pressing, but we're snapping the ball with 15 seconds left. It keeps the defense on his heels. Another key point, Kirk just missed a lot of automatic throws today. The throws that he usually gets, we all know he usually hits those throws. He just missed them today. So that kept the game kind of close. And then also another thing, Ed Donashell, he just needs to pressure a little bit more. I got on my Harrison Smith jersey today. He made a great play earlier in the game. Let him play closer to the line on earlier downs. I just think that this defense, he's not used more efficiently, a little bit more closer to the line like we did with Mike Zimmer. So that's just the key points I had today. Another great win. I'm very positive. I have a feeling that Dallas and Philadelphia are going to X each other out in the playoffs, which is going to catapult us a little bit more. I'm still hoping that we don't run into San Francisco. But if we play them at home, I'm very confident we're going to beat San Francisco. So otherwise than that, guys, you guys are the best. I'm looking forward to hopefully getting back on here again, and I enjoy you guys. Skull.
Awesome, man. Dennis, thank you, dude. Appreciate you coming on. Great stuff. Let's keep it rolling here. Vikings Vent Line.
Let's go to Ian next. Ian.
What's happening, fellas?
Hey, Ian.
What a season it's been. A lot of fun, right? When do we get to say we're actually 10-2? Me and my mom sit and watch every single game, and we're beside ourselves. We can't get rid of the anxiety. You know what I mean? Like, just once, could we have a game that we're not clutching our pearls at the end? You know what I mean?
I don't know. You know what? There's a noon game against the Lions have been red hot recently. But Kirk Cousins noon against the Lions is some of the most magical football that you will see. So this might be it next Sunday. We'll see.
Oh, you're right. So a couple things I want to touch on. One, that second quarter 3-yard catch by Jefferson, where he got nailed. How excited were you when he caught that ball and got up? Have you ever been more excited for a 3-yard catch?
He got up and he kind of smiled because the defensive player thought, "Yeah, I got one on you." He got up and kind of smiled at him and gave him like little finger wave, like, "Nah, dude, I got you. First down."
That's right. We've started cheering every extra point and every field goal make like they're touchdowns. Just trying to will some sort of kicking game. I don't know what Declan's got going on over there, but so one other thing, this defense, a good quarterback would beat us by 15 points today. There were three throws that I can think of that if he just hits his guy, we're gashed. It's terrible to watch this defense. Why is Why is Hunter dropping back into coverage to cover a tight end? It makes no sense.
Yeah, I think, and Ian, thank you for bringing great questions, great energy. I think sometimes Donatel, like today, one of the near interceptions was, so DJ Wanham and Patrick Jones were in as the edge rushers in place of Za'Darius and Danielle Hunter. And Wanham dropped back into coverage while Eric Kendricks took his place as a rusher. So technically, I don't know that would be classified as a blitz because you weren't sending an extra man on the play. You were just swapping out a down lineman for or an edge for a linebacker, a middle linebacker. But I think he likes that deception that sometimes he'll and he doesn't do it a lot. I don't think Danielle Hunter drops back a lot into coverage, but you know, it's less about Danielle in coverage and more about the confusion up front by, oh my God, that's the guy I thought you're an offensive lineman. You're trying to figure out who's coming, and it's not him. Where's the extra guy coming from? I'm not saying it's working very well this season, but I think that's the logic behind it when you see guys like Danielle drop into coverage sometimes.
Yeah, and I think he's dropped into coverage. I looked it up at some point today, like 22 times total. So it's not a ton, but it's
a couple times a game.
It's at times, but yeah. And the other thing to keep in mind too is that might have been an adjustment by the Jets as well, because like there was a play where I think the Vikings clearly adjusted in the first half. That first significant run by Cook looked like a pass play. Cook split out. Kirk brings him back into the backfield, so it goes from empty to Cook right by Kirk in shotgun, and I think and the Jets were blitzing. And so I think the Vikings picked up on that. They blitz. And then if you saw, Cook actually was really patient. He got the ball, waited. The blitz sort of comes by him, and then he takes off. Mm-hmm. So, like, this is adjustments in game by teams too, which they're smart enough to do now. It looked like on the tight end pass that they definitely saw something. I wonder if they knew Hunter was going to drop back and exploited that, because that was a pretty simple play. Mm-hmm. Once Hunter dropped back, because it's not like he went with the tight end. The tight end peeled off, and so that's like the cat and mouse stuff that becomes intriguing to watch. But I think we always think it's predetermined stuff, and I think sometimes it's adjustments on the fly.
Mm-hmm. All right, Dex, who else we got here?
Yeah, a few more left here on Vikings Vent Line. We'll go to Matt next. Matt, you got us okay? Looks like he's on a stroll outside.
Yeah, I'm out walking my black lab, who's actually named Thielen. So,
Thielen, who's a good boy? Who's running
quick?
Is he running? Is he running forward or is he running backwards, losing yardage?
Yeah, exactly. No, he's definitely going forward right now. So, but yeah, lifelong tortured Vikings fan, long time listener to you guys. So appreciate everything you guys do. Just calling in today because I think I have a plea to ask the Vikings Nation, which is let's be positive, guys. I mean, we're 10-2 right now. I mean, it's easy to nitpick wins, but a win is a win is a win. And if anything, I think the fact that we're 10-2 and we're not playing as well as we potentially could is a sign of how good this team actually is. Because as we all know, like, good teams find a way to win ugly. And that's what we're doing right now. But who cares? We're 10-2. And so I think it's important for us. I mean, I know we're inclined to kind of nitpick things and be skeptical, but I think I'm telling myself and everybody out there, like, let's enjoy the ride. I mean, let's be honest, guys, like, this is not a Super Bowl team. This is not our year. Like, this is a stepping stone to next year. So the fact that we're 10-2 with injuries in the secondary and a defense that we all knew coming into the year was our weakness, and yet here we are 10-2, I think that's a huge positive. And so I think we should just all remain positive about how we look at things. And if anything, we should be looking at the offense. The offense is the one letting this team down. How many times late in the games are we going 3 and out when we could put the game away, and we're putting it back on our defense, which we all know is our weakness. So I think if anything, we should be nitpicking the offense and what we're not doing right on that side of the ball versus looking at the defense and expecting a group there that has its weaknesses, but rightfully so. So I think we just need to be realistic about what this team actually is.
Yeah,
Thanks,
I love that call, man. Enjoy the rest of your walk. Say hi to Thielen for us.
Yeah, yeah.
Keep him moving forward. None of that circling back, losing yardage thing.
Teach Benny something too.
You know, I think so. The one thing that he nailed, and he was right about a lot of things there, was this probably isn't. I don't want to buzzkill anything for Vikings fans, but like they're probably not going to win the Super Bowl this year, unless all of a sudden we see like a new level of defensive play here that we haven't seen yet. As currently constructed, This is not the Eagles. This is not the Chiefs. Okay, they'd have to make a pretty magical run. But to that point, everything's kind of gravy from this point. No one thought they were going to be 10-2. No one thought they were going to finish the regular season with a 12 or 13 win record or do a bunch of damage in January and early February. So if you do sort of look at this season as, well, I mean, this is all bonus happiness now. And then it's about if they don't win the Super Bowl or they don't go as far as you want in the playoffs, now it's going to be a really fun offseason of tinkering and tweaking and seeing, all right, what are the 2, 3, 4 things you can add and learn to make this thing better in 2023. So if you look at it as kind of it's free money the rest of the way in a season in which your expectations weren't Super Bowl, that's probably a good way to view the rest of the games.
It's nice, but I'm all in now. I want more. I'm getting selfish. I'm getting greedy.
But do you think this team right now is the Kansas City Chiefs, is the Philadelphia Eagles just beat a really good Titans team like they were a college team today at home?
Oh, absolutely.
They beat the Eagles. They beat the Titans 35-10 at home today.
They're absolutely not one of the 2 best teams. They might not be one of the 3 best teams. But I will say this, it is fun to see in a year like this where it's sort of a magic carpet ride. It's fun to see how far it can go. And all I'm asking is this. Let's not have the kicker submarine the season, okay? That's all I'm asking. Let's not have the kicker screw it up. Let's not have Ed Donashell.
Okay, what would be an acceptable way for them to not win the Super Bowl then for you?
You know what? To lose in a playoff game to a good team, but don't get your ass kicked.
So you're fighting the Eagles on the road or something.
Yes. Here's what I don't want. I don't want Greg Joseph 51 yards. It comes down to this.
Well, you could fight the Eagles and then Greg Joseph misses a kick.
Wide. I know, but I'm trying to pick my way of what I want. And what I want is, yes, you play Philadelphia, you don't give up 45 points, you play them tough, but I do want to see, like, we saw it today, you guys. The defense in the first half did some really constructive things.
Agreed.
That's what I want. Like the second half. So I get the positive thing, and I am totally on the side of anyone who says this expectation that you're going to blow out teams like this. That's not how the majority of this league works. Okay. So I am not expecting, oh man, they should be blowing out teams right and left. They're so good. But today's game frustrates you as a fan, and I think it's fair to. The first half, defensively, you did some really good things. And it's like, okay, there it is. And the second half, and yes, the offense let down too. So I'm not absolving them. It's just somewhat frustrating at times when I see the adjustments made and then the adjustments sort of go away. And I guess I'm come from the standpoint of, why didn't you keep trying to do what you were doing previously?
Yeah. Rich S chimes in here on the YouTube comment section. Mackie. Hey, Mackie. Seasons like this come along only once a decade. For this franchise, that is true, yes. I'll be 70 by the time the next one comes along. Before I die is now for me. Richie. Okay, but Rich, I'm telling you, this team as currently constructed, it's all gravy from this point forward. All gravy. I am not slapping Okay, let me back up a step. When we say we want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die, that's the macro. The micro is there are some seasons in which you're building towards something that might not land until next year or the year after. And I think they are building something in year 1 of Kevin O'Connell. They're building something for like 2023-24. If it somehow happens this year, amazing, gravy,
right,
awesome.
Right.
But I am not slapping Super Bowl win or bust expectation on this year's team. I personally. So you guys can do whatever you want. Judd, you're older than I am, so I mean,
yes, I am slapping this though. I am slapping on to Rich's point, the fact that seasons like this don't come around often, and so I don't expect a Super Bowl. But I don't know if I feel it's gravy, because there's a very good chance in 2023, for instance, things aren't going to go this right. You're going to lose a few of these games. You're not going to get some of the fortune. You're going to get more guys hurt. I mean, we've seen seasons, i.e. 2017, go really well. And like, you get breaks, and those breaks dry up. And so I get Rich's point. Unfortunately, like, if you are asking me, do I see this as a team that's going to go head to head with the Chiefs? Unfortunately, no, I don't. So that's where I land. I still have expectations, though. I mean, this is fun, and the Vikings are winning a lot of games like a lot of teams do, which is they're very close. They are not aesthetically pleasing, but at the end of the day, you find a way.
All right, one last person here on Vikings Vent Line to wrap up. Let's go to Rashad. Rashad, what's going on?
Oh, I caught the last. I'm glad I got it. Got my daughter with me again. I'm not sure if you guys remember her.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Hey, guys.
So I have a few points to make. I'll say this for one. This is a top 5 DL, I think, in my opinion, easily. And we got to give this OL their props a little bit, especially without Darisaw. It wasn't the most impressive, but they gave Kirk enough time to get some of those throws off and to make some connections. So I expected a little bit less from them. So I was actually pleasantly surprised. Somebody already said Greg Joseph had ice in his veins today. I was like at the edge of my seat on point after. It's like, oh my God, please just make it. Please just make it. I was very pleased with his performance today. I also, all we need to do this week, freaking tackle drills. Like, Jesus Christ, guys, wrap up. Like, you're right there. That's not scheme. That's not a scheme issue. Wrap up, dudes. Like, you have him dead to rights. I saw all types of people missing tackles. Like, come on. Zadarius Smith missed a tackle. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is going on with this? It's happening every week. I don't understand it. So, yeah, I mean, like, if we could just wrap up, I think these games would be a lot less close. I mean, some of these big yardage plays we're giving up, some of these runs we're giving up, just wrap the guys up, man. It's really annoying. I also want to see some more from our other wide receivers. Like, where are they at? You can definitely see the difference with Hockenson on the field now that we have another legitimate threat other than Justin Jefferson. But, like, where are our other wide receivers? Like, who are they? I have not been able to see anything from them this year. I thought this was to be a year that KJ, turned around a little bit. Like, he's been null and void for the most part. I'm pretty disappointed. Also, please feed our running backs. Like, I was happy to see that they gave Dalvin Cook the rock a little more. Sorry, my son is tripping right now. Happy to see that they gave Dalvin Cook the rock a little bit more. But, like, we need to like impose our will a little bit more running the ball. I like to see that. Oh yeah, and I have one last point. People want blowouts because it's sexy. Everybody likes to see it. Our team. We haven't seen the Vikings just lay the wood on somebody in a long time. Like, just a nice 40-3 blowout. Hint, hint. But I actually, and I said this a few times. It's not that I like the nail biters, but that's the playoff atmosphere, right?
It is.
A lot more neck and neck. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to get a lot of blowouts in the playoffs. So I'd rather than be battle tested now, learn how to win these games where it's like, okay, we got to be crisp on every single play. We have to play mistake. What did Zimmer used to say? Mistake-free football. We cannot afford any mistakes, guys. Block your guy, chip your guy, catch the ball. Let's move the ball. Greg, kick the field goal through the uprights, please. So I don't mind. I don't necessarily mind the close games. I like to see us just blow somebody out. But I know that this is a playoff atmosphere. This is what it's going to look like. I'll take a W every day of the week. This is my lucky one today, Vikings hat. Let's go. Love you guys. See you next week. Hopefully.
Awesome, man. Rashad, great
man.
job closing it out here on Vikings Vent Line. Wow, he stayed very composed.
No, he's great.
Little,
and he didn't get mad. He just kept going.
Kids just, Daddy. I
thought
he was going to pause for 10 seconds and rage there. Keep it down over there.
No, he was great.
What was I saying again?
Yeah.
So Vikings win 10-2 on the season. And the Lions, if the Lions would have lost today, the Vikings would have clinched the NFC North. And instead, they will show down against each other next week to see if the Lions can keep hope alive for them the rest of the season. The Packers beat the Bears today 28-19. So technically, they are still alive for a playoff spot. But it's basically Lions and Vikings here because the Vikings knocked the Packers out of division contention with their win today. So. All right, boys, any quick final thoughts? Tomorrow we're going to do another recap on Purple Daily. So we got our hottest Vikings takes. Is it Declan's turn for the pie chart?
Yep. I just told Vinny to turn on the oven. We're going to do a pie chart. We're going to give him a taste. And if he likes the pie, we will serve the pie to the rest of people.
Just be careful. His, sweets are not good for dogs. So
it's true.
Sure
it's also it's been a solo dad weekend. Mom's coming back from the airport here in a couple hours. So it's
wow. So the boys have just been scratching themselves and watching football and drinking brown alcohol together.
They like to say the boys are buzzing.
Smoking cigars.
Yeah, the boys had a good weekend here and we're ready for Mom to come home. We are ready. Please come back.
All right. We got to let Judd get back to his work in the press box there. Looks like, by the way, the Wild blew a 4-goal lead and then won the game anyways, I think.
In a shootout, 6-5.
Just like probably a fifth of the comments here today. Are you guys watching this Wild game?
It was
This
4-1, 4-2, 4-3, 4-4, or 5-1. Yeah, not good. Jeffrey.
Hilarious. All right. Thank you to everyone who makes this show just a blast every single week. Vikings Vent Line, the most fan-friendly, interactive show in Minnesota sports. And then if you're new to this whole thing, Purple Daily, literally 365 days a week of Vikings content, podcasts on the Purple Daily YouTube channel and podcast feed. So we'll be back at you tomorrow with our flagship show. Also, Before We Die with Jesse and Thor, and Realistic Randy with Declan as well. And then either tomorrow or Tuesday night, I'll be recording with our guy Alex Boone for a Trenches episode. So tons of stuff coming at you on the Purple Daily podcast feed and YouTube channel in the next 2 or 3 days. We'll see you guys next week on Vikings Vent Line.